The 37,000 members of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation are commemorating an anniversary this month and next. And as they do, they are taking time to reflect on their past and look ahead to their future. Kennedy Sepulveda joins us now with more on their story. Kennedy.
Rich, 2022 marks the sesquicentennial anniversary of Citizen Potawatomi Nation's third and final removal across unfamiliar terrain to new lands. The tribe's final destination is in present-day Potawatomi County.
These are the stories of a warrior, a Wadase.
The strength of a warrior is within the people of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, who persevered through removal, disease, and death when white settlers pushed the tribe from their ancestral lands.
Citizen Potawatomi Nation are one of 9 Potawatomi tribes. There are 7 federally recognized tribes in the United States and 2 Canadian First Nations. We are so dispersed because of the forced removals from the Great Lakes.
150 years later, the nation has not only survived but thrived. The tribe owns the First National Bank and Trust Co., which assets reached an excess of $700 million in 2021, making it the largest tribally owned national bank in the U.S. The Fire Lake Arena, which is home to the newly purchased minor league basketball team, Potawatomi Fire.
This brings a strong economic impact on our community and jobs and advertising and entertainment dollars that we might not otherwise see invested in our community.
As well as the Grand Casino Hotel and Resort, the Fire Lake Casino, multiple grocery stores, a golf course, bowling center, ball fields, restaurants, and event center for citizens and non-citizens to use and enjoy. The Potawatomi tribes were once part of a larger cultural group called Anishinaabe, which consisted of Ojibwe, keepers of medicine, Odawa, keepers of trade, and Bodewadmi, now pronounced Potawatomi, keepers of the fire. Anishinaabe lived on the Great Lakes, where some of the Potawatomi were forcibly removed from in 1838 in what is known as the Trail of Death.
Some of our kinsmen fled north to Canada to avoid removal. Some negotiated removal with the best circumstances possible. And then there are those of us who were forcibly removed all the way to Kansas. You know, our homes were burned and we were marched out with a bayonet in our backs.
Citizen Potawatomi found themselves separated from their homelands and the anchor of their cultural teachings.
There's a lot of writings and things about being separated from the bones of your ancestors, being separated from the clan animals that made up our cosmology, being separated from the actual lakes that our oral traditions tell us is the place that the Creator made for us.
Then, in 1861, the Potawatomi people found the tribe splitting again.
We took citizenship in land, they did not, thus we became the Citizen Potawatomi. They became known as the Prairie Potawatomi.
The Prairie Band Potawatomi lived on a reservation in Kansas, while Citizen Potawatomi embraced agriculturalist lifestyles, until the United States brought forth another treaty in 1867 that would require Citizen Potawatomi to sell their allotted lands and buy a reservation in Indian Territory. After signing the Treaty of 1867, it took another 5 years for the first 7 families to move from Kansas to Oklahoma into what is now Potawatomi County. Since the Citizen Potawatomi had to pay for the removal to Indian Territory, only the affluent families could make the first trek in 1872.
Word was sent back to Kansas telling them that this is a viable place for people to reestablish their lives and set up homesteads.
Over the course of about 15 years, most of the people who were going to move to Indian Territory did so.
Started to prosper on their lands, opening businesses, founding towns.
Though the order of the land was to kill the Indian and save the man, CPN and the other 38 federally recognized tribes in Oklahoma are still here, proving their strength.
With Oklahoma being a melting pot, it's important for, one, the native people of this area, but also the immigrants to this area to recognize and understand where everybody came from, to appreciate those differences, and hopefully that can make a stronger Oklahoma.
CPN's Cultural Heritage Center in Shawnee allows for interactive teachings of the history, including traditional games, which I lost.
It's vital for that information to get passed on, especially from one generation to the next. Otherwise, cultures would die out, especially not knowing who you are or where you came from.
Another aspect of keeping the culture alive is through language preservation.
We have 1- and 2-year-olds who know more Potawatomi than their grandparents ever had the opportunity to, which is amazing. If you're able to speak the language, you understand your culture on a deeper level. You understand when you hear certain words, not just the word in its literal translation, but that deeper meaning behind it, and that's a real connection for people.
Citizen Potawatomi Nation offers language classes in public schools in Potawatomi County, several colleges, online, and at CPN Cultural Heritage Center. The nation will commemorate the sesquicentennial anniversary at their annual Family Reunion Festival in June. Now, that festival is only open to members of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, but the sesquicentennial lectures will be posted online for the rest of us to learn from. Rich?